Okay, let's Noha's going. She's about to sign in. She just texted me.
Okay.
All right. Okay, so in our last lesson, if you remember, Brahim, we were mainly talking about technology, especially computers, I think, computers and social networks.
أنا الحصة اللي فاتت ما هرب علي الضوء.
Yeah, at the end, but in the beginning you were there, right? In the first part.
إيه في البيجينينج إيه بعتالي لما وصلنا في السكند كونديشنال قال لي مع السلامة.
Okay, so I think I'll have to send you the last. Excuse me, I'll have to send you the last
video
lesson. I'll send you the video. So this way you'll get to hear it again. But I'll talk about it quickly now as a revision. So here in the second conditional, the idea is basically okay.
يعني القطة شو اسمه من السكند كونديشنال انها كيف نقولها لك يعني يفيد التمني بمعنى.
السلام عليكم.
وعليكم السلام. Hi Noha, how are you?
Thank you, very well.
Okay, yes, Ibrahim, I think generally speaking, it's about it's not about wishing the second conditional, the idea of second conditional. It's about something that's imaginary. This is the idea. Something that's imaginary in the present or in the future. For example, like here, if I take you to this example, this sentence. Oh no, this lesson is the other one. The second conditional was before it. Here, for example. Okay, I'm going to answer the first one for you, but then I think you'll get the idea. So if I won a holiday, is it won or win? I think it's in the, yes, it's one. I would go where is it? Okay, if I won a holiday, I would go, and then we can add something imaginary. For example, I will go to the Maldives. All right. What are the chances of me winning a holiday, Ibrahim, here?
50-50, maybe not.
What do you think?
1%.
We don't really know, but they're low. The probabilities are low. You get the idea.
Okay.
So I'm sort of imagining in the future that if I win in this situation, if I won a holiday anywhere in the world, I would go to the Maldives. Okay. So the chance of winning a holiday anywhere in the world, the whole event itself is is not something probable, because even if you do win a holiday, it's not an open ticket and you can choose anywhere you want. Usually they'll give you a destination, right? For example, if you win a prize or we win some kind of competition, the prize is you have a ticket for 2 days in I don't know, Morocco, Tunisia, whatever, something, right? It's not an open ticket, but this situation is imaginary from the get-go, from the start. I mean, if I won a holiday anywhere in the world, I would go to the Maldives. The second example, I'll do it as well. So here, if I didn't live where I do, I would like to live. I would like to live in, let's say, Alaska. It's not true, but for example, you get the idea. Look at this situation. It's also very imaginary, Ibrahim. If I didn't live where I do, but you already live where you do. Do you get the idea? The whole if conditional is unrealistic. It's kind of imaginary from the beginning. Do you understand? So when someone says, if I don't live where I do, but you do live where you do. Everybody lives where they do. Do you get the idea? Nobody doesn't live where they do. Of course you can travel and come back, you can emigrate, yes. But the situation, the if clause is imaginary from the beginning. Okay? So this is the idea of the second conditional. It's usually something imaginary in the future. It's unlikely to happen. It's not like the first condition. The first condition, it's very likely to happen. So if you study hard, you'll pass the exam. It's not a fact. It's not a scientific fact, but it's a very realistic proposition. Do you understand? If you study well, you'll pass the exam. It's a very logical thing to say. Here, this isn't very logical from the beginning. It's very imaginary. This is the main difference between the first conditional and the second conditional. The first conditional, the thing you're talking about is very likely to happen if the condition is if the condition is true. لو الشرط اللي موجود عندك في if condition لو تحقق, if it happens, then the second part, which is the main clause, it's also very likely to happen in the first condition. Of course, with zero, it's a fact. It's not, there isn't really much to say. It's not a probability thing. It's more of a fact. If you boil water, it reaches, if water reaches 100, it boils. This is a fact. There isn't even a probability where this doesn't happen. You get the idea? So zero conditional, 100% of the time, it happens. First conditional, not 100%, but very, very likely it will happen. The second conditional, it's unlikely to happen. We don't want to say zero, but it's very unlikely. You're talking about imaginary situations. You get the idea. If you want to compare it, if you want to think of them in terms of probability and likelihood, يعني لو تحقق لك if clause, what's the likelihood of the main clause coming true? If you're talking about zero conditional, 100%. First conditional, a little less. Second conditional, sort of unlikely. You get the idea? Okay, can you do number 3?
سؤال قديش في conditional?
I think 4. Yeah.
4.
Yeah. You have 0, 1, 2, 3.
2 3 هل يعني أبعد للواقعية أكثر من second.
Yeah. It's even less
كل ما
likely.
بعد من الزيرو بعد أكثر.
Yeah, this is an interesting way of thinking of them, صح؟ لو بنخمم فيهم قصة possibility, you're right. Yes. The third one is actually kind of impossible to happen. I don't want to confuse you now by telling you about
لا أنا
بس الترتيب the way you organized it in your head, it's excellent. Yes. The third condition is even less likely to happen. Actually, not less. It's not going to happen because it's in the past in a way.
تمام.
Do you get the idea? So for now, just think of the third conditional. I think that they'll definitely include it in this book because usually conditionals are included in intermediate. And now we're doing intermediate B, so we're doing the sort of higher half of the book. So it will definitely be included. All right, so now let's go back to the grammar part of the rule. Now, I want you to follow the same model in number 1 and number 2. And you can notice that I used past simple in the if clause, and then I used would plus infinitive in the second clause, right?
Okay.
So can you just follow the same routine, the same verb forms, and you'll get all of these correct, right? You get the idea?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's do number 3.
If I can change places with one person in the world, I will choose كده.
Okay, now but
if I
yes, no, that's right.
I could.
لازم تحولهم الموديل فيرب كلهم حولهم للماضي.
If I could.
That's it. So in your condition, you're using the past, right? ماش زي first condition. You used to use the present. Remember, if you study hard, you will pass the exam. But here you don't use the present anymore. You use the past simple in the if clause. So, like you said, if I could, where is it? If I could change places with one person in the world, I would. Okay, you complete it.
Sure.
Okay, just
right now.
Yeah, just complete it grammatically.
Bill Gates.
But I mean, okay, Bill Gates. But before you do it, just complete the gap first.
I will choose.
Will or would?
Would.
Yes. Good. So I'd, and yeah, of course you can use the contraction. You can say I'd choose. You want to choose Bill Gates, right? All right. It's a good choice. Okay, nice.
هو كنا بنختار متاع الامازون لكن لسه مهرب منه بس.
Yeah, no, you don't choose him because he died from pancreatic cancer. So yeah, he died. The Apple guy, long ago. I think maybe 5 years now he's been dead, or 4 or something. Steve Jobs, you mean, right?
Mr. Steve Jobs, لا بتاع الامازون.
The Amazon. I thought you were talking about Apple. Yeah.
لا.
Yeah, he's still alive. Yeah, Jeff Bezos. Yeah.
Jeff Bezos, eh?
Yeah, he's the Amazon CEO, Jeff Bezos. All right, number 4, Brian. Same thing. Past simple, would plus infinitive. Do number 4. So here you need to use verb to be in the past. Yeah. What are the different forms of verb to be? So when you talk about yourself, tell me. Okay.
Am.
Yeah, that's it. Am, and what else?
Am, are, is.
That's it. And in the past, what do they change to in the past?
Was, were.
That's it. And which one do we use for I?
Was.
Correct. But there's a sort of additional rule, and if you're using an if, both are accepted. يعني تقول if I were a film star, if I was a film star, both are okay. You get the idea. But this is not all the time. It's only when you use if. Okay. So
if I was a film star, I would like to make a film with.
Yeah, who would you like to make a film with?
Not.
Think of some celebrity, some director, producer, actor, actress. I mean, you like Scarlett Johansson, right?
Michelle Ba.
Okay.
أعطينا دنزل واشنطن الأفلام تاعه قوية.
Yeah, that's true. I agree. I think he's very interesting. Okay, so let's say Denzel Washington. Okay, next one, number 5. Again, Ibrahim, past simple would.
If I lived in a different country, I would.
Yes. And infinitive after would. So just use the verb that you can see in the brackets.
I would miss.
What would you miss? Is there something from Libya you miss? If you lived in another country. Okay, I answered the same answer. I'd miss Libyan food. It's the only good thing we have in Libya. That's what I was telling Noah last time. Okay. Yeah, Libyan food. I agree with you on this. Okay, next one.
خير الجود سيرفيس مش عاجبتكم؟
Service, you mean from families? From our families?
لا, good service في البلاد مش عاجبتكم؟ مش هتلقوا في أي بلاد تانية.
إيه لا نشكر فيها بالعكس.
ما شاء الله.
What kind of service do you mean, Nahan?
والله كلها ما شاء الله. في حاجة عجبتك السيرفيس كلها ما شاء الله يعني.
Everything is perfect here and we're not complaining at all.
Yeah. Local service كلها يا سلام.
Yeah, everything works and everything is perfect. Okay, last example, Ibrahim.
If I could talk to a famous person from history. I would talk to.
Who would you talk to? Who are you interested to talk with?
والله مش عارف. قلت Prophet Muhammad.
Okay. To Prophet Muhammad. That's a good answer. And what would you like to talk to him about?
Everything.
Okay. To Prophet Muhammad about everything. So do you get the idea now of second conditional, Brian? This is the rough outline. You just need 2 things really to understand about the second conditional, how it's used. If you put them in likelihood, 0 100%, type 1 أقل شوية, type 2 أقل شوية, type 3 it's not going to happen. Do you get the idea? So task 2, we're already we're already talking about something that's very unlikely to happen, right? Not completely impossible, but you know, it's very unlikely. And then the grammar part. With grammar, you need to use past simple in the if clause, and then would plus infinitive in the main clause. Okay. When I send you the video of last lesson, and you see it in detail, Nuha and I were doing these exercises, I think it will become pretty clear for you. Okay. So this is the idea. After you disconnected, we completed this, and we started talking about our next topic, which is mainly about social networking. So we managed to finish the first, second, and third. I don't think we finished the third one. No, we did. We also finished the third article. So let me summarize very quickly what the point is. This study or this article is about the effect of social media on the lives of young people, especially children and teenagers. And the conclusion is that the effect is actually more negative than most people, positive, than most people maybe are aware of, right? Everybody knows the positive effects of social media, which is, communication, connectivity, if you have something you want to know about, if you need any sort of specific help, if you need a plumber, if you need a gardener, if you need a tutor, of course, social media will help you get in contact with these people a lot easier than 20 years ago. or 30 years ago when you had to, ask your family, ask your cousins, look at classified ads in newspapers. I'm talking here abroad. So this is, of course, a positive thing. But the negative things are, of course, that people are spending too much time on their social network, on their, their accounts. They're not talking to each other. So we discussed some of the problems here. And we also talked about some of these words, which I think none of them are new to you. Maybe forums. Do you know what an online forum is, Brian? When we say forum.
No.
Okay, a forum. Can you explain what a forum is, please, Naha?
Forum.
Yeah, a forum. Is it the same as a blog?
I'm not sure. لكن forum منصات يعني. Site forum and forums يعني منصات تواصل اجتماعي أو هيك.
Yes, forums, Brahim, are like when, for example, a specific group who are gamers. So they have gamer forums, for example. They ask about certain details in a game, how to pass that level. If there's, for example, if there's a crack you need to do for the game to install. So you can find someone asking a question, how do I install Modern Warfare, whatever. And the other one will answer, no, you need a cracked version, blah, blah, point, blah. And then you need the DLL file. And then you'll see, people interacting because they share a common interest, which is games, maybe. So you can find a community. Forums, usually they gather communities of people who are interested in the thing. So you can find, the same thing. You can find car forums, fashion forums, game forums, sport forums. It depends on your interest, but whatever you type in Google, usually Google will take you, especially if you type a question in the first 10 options, it's very likely one of them will be some kind of forum. Because I do this with English, sometimes I have something I'm not sure of, or if I see a new word and I'm not sure how to properly put it in a sentence, I might type it and then I'll find lots of ESL forums. ESL, which is English as a second language. Teachers, students, especially advanced students asking these questions, teachers answering them, or foreign teachers who are maybe not sure of something. You'll find a few native teachers who will tell them, well, this is more common than this. This is correct, but it's a little weird. All of this you can find this in forums. This is the idea. All right, so we talked about this. So in short, you didn't miss a lot in this part, Brian. This part we didn't talk about yet, and I think this is what the lesson is really about. Okay, so here we are going to talk a little bit about articles. So of course, as you know, articles, we have a or a, and we have an, and we have the. These are the only articles we have in English. A or a and the. Of course, articles, you might be thinking, why do we have this topic? Students and beginners study this, right? For example, a book, an apple, right? What's the point? But actually, articles are a little trickier than they appear, because in some situations, you don't use an article at all. And I think this is probably the addition today. Which situations do we omit the article? We don't use the article. Is there a situation where we don't use the article? Actually, there is. Okay. So let's start here. It says, look at the words or phrases in blue in the article. So there are a few blue words we'll go back to. I have a better idea. I think we can change the page display so we can see both pages at this. What happens? Yeah. So we can see both pages at the same time. The 2-page view. This might be easier. Let me zoom in. So this way we can also see the blue words. And we can move up and down. All right, so now, what we're going to do is we're going to look for the blue words in the article, and we're going to match them with these rules, okay? So it says here, the first rule, the first group is we use a or an in three different situations, okay? The first situation, it says, when we don't know, or when it isn't important, which one? So if you're talking about a noun or something that you're not sure of, maybe you don't know it very well, or if it isn't important, you can use an article before the noun. And if you look at the example here they use in the article, we have day, a day. If you read it from the beginning, what does it say? It says millions of people organize their lives, blah, blah, blah. Many of them can't go a day or even an hour without checking for a status update. So here we're speaking very, very generally about any day. You get the idea? So it's not an important day. It's not a special day. There's nothing about it which is significant, right? In this situation, you should use the article a or an for 60%. Now, with jobs, can you look for a blue word which talks about a job?
A designer.
Correct. All right. So if you're talking about a job, we use a or an. All right. In part C, it says to talk about a person or a thing for the first time. So if you're talking about a person or a thing for the first time, you need to use
a new person.
Yes, correct. A new person, because this is the first time. This is the first time we've mentioned this person, right? But what do you notice right after it in the second sentence? What happened?
The person.
Yeah. Why do you think we did that? Why did we change this?
Then mash ولا new.
Okay, correct. And also because we know the person you're talking about, the listener or the reader knows it's the same thing. We're talking about the same person. You get the idea? So if you're talking about for the second time, when we get to the rule, we'll talk about this, of course. So it's very clear when to use a or an, right? I think it's obvious. If it's something you don't know, or if it isn't important, which one? It means if it's any day, if it's any hour, if it's any pen, just use a, okay? If you're talking about a job, the same thing. A plumber, a teacher, a doctor, an engineer, and so on. And if you're talking about a person or a thing for the first time, it means you haven't mentioned it before. It should be with a or an. Okay, now let's move to the. Now you can see with the, we have much more, much more options. So, okay, no, the first one it says here, we use the to talk about the same person or thing. Okay, so we did this. And when we said the person, so this is the answer. But what about the E, it says here? When there's only one. Sorry?
Sorry.
No, here it says when there's only one or only one in a particular place. Where is it? In which blue word did we use the here?
The only one.
Yes.
The USA.
But I think the USA. We don't have the USA. We have the UK.
The charity.
Where's the charity? But it's not in blue. We're looking only for the blue words.
The blue.
Yeah.
The internet. معناها.
That's it. That's the one we want. Yes. Yeah. Because there's only one internet. We don't have different types of internet. It's just the internet, right? So this rule applies for E when there's only one, or maybe one in a particular place. So if you have a classroom, the teacher, you don't say where's a teacher, you say where's the teacher. Usually you don't have 2 or 3 teachers in the same classroom. There's only one teacher in a class, right?
Yeah.
But if you're looking for students, you should say, where's the student? Only if the listener knows which student you're talking about, right?
Mhm.
Okay, now with F, it says with countries that are groups of islands or states.
The USA, the UK.
Okay, the UK is the one we want. Yes, that's correct. Mhm. And the last one with superlatives.
The largest.
That's it. So in all these situations, we use the. All right. So until now, everything is clear and obvious, I guess. Now with the third category, this is where I think most students, maybe not your level, but at least with my elementary and pre-intermediate class, most students add the when it's not supposed to. There isn't a need for the, but they keep putting it. So I think this is more common than the other two. Making mistakes here is more common for lower level students. Okay, so let's see the situations here, Brian. So it says we don't use an article if you're talking about most towns, cities, countries, and continents. Okay, this means you're going to look for a blue word which talks about town, city, country, or continent.
Egypt.
Right, that's it. We don't say the Egypt, we don't say an Egypt, we just say Egypt, right? Okay. The second example, Ibrahim, it says to talk about people or things in general. Where is something which is, something in general? You're talking about something in general. Blue words. Yes, you were about to say it.
Society.
Yes, society. Here, if you notice, we're speaking about society in general. But what effect is this having on society? We're talking about it in general. So we don't use an article. You don't say the society. Okay, and the last one, Noha, I think it's easy. Some public spaces, when we talk about what they're used for in general.
School.
Yeah, school is the one we want to talk about here. So here, school, we're talking about it not as a building, but we're talking about it as an institution, right? So for example, if you want to talk about it in the general way, we say students study at school, right? But for example, if you want to talk about it as a building or a location, it's better to say the school is next to the cafe, right? So here it's mentioned. There's a school or a
school, university.
Yeah. If you're talking about it as a physical location, not an institution. Here we're speaking about it more as an institution or, generally the way it's used, which is for education. We just say school, university. We don't use any articles. Okay, let's take a look at the tips here. Maybe there's something worth checking. Of course, there are more details, by the way. I forgot to prepare the sheet I told you about, but I'll do this after the lesson. I'll take a screenshot and send it to you. The one I'm talking about is from an upper intermediate book, and there was a very nice summary of this exact topic. I'd like to share it with you, so I'll do that after the lesson. I'll send it to you. Okay, here let's check if there are any tips. Okay, so here it's just the answers. Nothing new. The tip. Okay, so they actually talked about the tip I was talking about because I remember this tip from the other book, the tip about the building. Can you read this, please, Ibrahim?
We use there with public places when we talk about the building. She works in the school opposite the park. He's gone to the hospital to visit his father.
Yeah. So the reason why we used the here, we didn't leave it without an article. We're speaking about it.
Specific.
Yeah. We're specific, exactly. We're specific, and we're not referring to it as, we're not speaking about it generally as an institution, right? So if you say, for example, my brother studies at school, of course, this is what schools are for. You don't need to say the school, right? But for example, if you want to talk about it in another way, other than the normal way schools are used for, so you should say school without that, right? Actually, the same thing with hospitals. There's a difference between he's at hospital, he's in the hospital, and he works at the hospital. In the hospital, it means you're admitted. So here, when we say he's gone to the hospital to visit his father, so his father doesn't work at the hospital, right? His father actually is admitted. He's a patient there. There are a few details here. I think it's better if I send you the summary so I don't confuse it myself, because it has it much better. It's organized and it has it in details. When to say at hospital, when to say the hospital. So there's a bit of a difference. Okay, so here the only addition is that for public places, there's no need for the, unless you're talking about the building. Okay, so let's continue. And let's do the second part of the question. The second part of the question here in part number 5A, it says, look at the words, phrases in pink and match them to the rules. So we're going to do the exact same thing that we did to the blue words. Now we'll do them to the pink words, all right? So let's change the page display again. Zoom out a little bit. All right. So an hour, where does this go, Ibrahim? An hour. Which rule does it match? What do you think?
When we don't know or it isn't important, which one?
Correct. Rule A. You're right. Yes. This is an hour. No, what about the USA? Which rule is this?
The USA use the only the countries that are group of islands or states.
That's it. Yes. Rule F. Correct. Brahim, what about children? Is making children feel lonelier? Which rule do you think?
Children. Okay. I.
Correct. You're speaking generally about something. If you're speaking generally about something, there's no need. Good. A children's charity. Nuha, what about this?
About a personal thing for the first time. See.
Let's see. Yes, you're right.
Maybe we don't know, or it's not important. Which one?
No, I think C is the right answer, Nuha. Do you know why? Because if you see two sentences afterwards, after saying a children's charity, they said the charity. So you're right. Your first answer is correct. Okay, Ibrahim, the charity. Which rule is this?
When we D.
E?
Mm.
Are you sure?
Particular place.
Mm,
Oh. Okay.
not exactly, no. Another one, choose another rule. Did we talk about charity before in the article? Here, and when we say
Yes.
yeah, so
D.
that's it. Yeah, because it's not the first time the writer has mentioned the word charity, right? 2 sentences earlier, he said, according to a children's charity. This is the first time they mentioned it. Now it's the second time. So whenever he wants to talk about charity, he cannot say a charity anymore. He has to say the, because it's known which charity he's talking about. All right, university, Noah, which rule is this?
J. Some public places.
Yes, that's right. Dublin, Brahim. What about Dublin? Which rule?
Dublin City.
Yes, so, correct?
For H.
Yes, that's it. Engineer, an engineer, Noah, an engineer.
B for jobs.
Right, B for jobs, good. And then we have the most amazing, Ibrahim. Why did we use the here? The most amazing.
كان تركب لي فوق بفضلك عشان اشرح الرول.
Here. Your answer is about the most amazing.
The A.
So it's either going to be D, E, F, G. One of them.
شنو الكلمة مرة ثانية؟ The amazing.
The most amazing.
The most amazing. With superlative.
That's it, yes. Because with superlatives, we use the most interesting, the most amazing, the biggest building in the world. So we use the with superlative. The world, why did we use the with world?
E. Only one.
Yes.
There's only one world.
Yeah, at least the one we know of until now, there's only one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so you can see the idea here. It's not too hard, I think, but it's quite important. And sometimes it's easy to confuse. All right, so we can move on. Let's see this exercise, page 104. 104. I think there's some kind of group. Okay. All right, so here, there's one in the, okay, because we have 2 of these. So, and I just want to check 104, and the other one is in page 109, 104, 109. Okay, so Ibrahim, the first one is for you, and then you'll get to ask Noah these questions, and then Noah will do, or maybe you should do it the other way around. So Ibrahim, you can answer them, and then Noah will ask you these questions. And afterwards, Noah will answer her version of this exercise, and you can ask her, okay? So for now, all you need to do is just answer these. Let me explain the question for you. So you need to fill in the gaps with a or an, the, or no article, okay? Do you get the question, Ibrahim? Okay, so let's start.
Which one is for Ibrahim?
Ibrahim will answer this. You have page 110 for you.
Okay.
It's a similar one to this. Yeah, go to, in your book, 109. So you can prepare it now, 109.
Okay.
And it's lesson 7C. Did you find it?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's yours. So you will answer that, and then Ibrahim will ask you these questions. Okay, Ibrahim. So let's answer these. You have 3 options: a or an, the or no article. Let's start with number one.
Do you know anyone who has just bought a new laptop?
Okay. Next one.
When did you last have a problem with your computer?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Did you manage to solve the problem yourself?
Okay. Next question.
Which do you like the best? An Italian food or a Chinese food?
What are the options you have in your answers, Brian?
Nam?
What are the options when you answer this question?
An, وذا, no article.
Correct. So try again with number three.
Which do you like the best? Italian food or Chinese food?
Yes. Do we need to use an article here?
No.
We don't. So that's your answer, right? Mm-hmm.
Where's the best place for tourists to visit? In the south of your country.
Okay. Why did you use that? It's correct, but why?
البليس نذكر انه في حاجة على البليس هو.
Okay, so the first the is because we use best. This is a superlative. Good, better, the best, right? And as a superlative, so we need to use the. The second the is because how many souths do you have in your country? You only have one south. Do you get the idea? I mean the direction itself, south. We don't have lots of souths. We just have one south. So for things which there is only one item of the thing, of the noun you're talking about, we just use the. Okay, number five.
What is or was the best thing about going to school?
Correct. We don't use an article. But you skipped number five.
skipped خمسة.
Yeah, do number five.
Would you prefer to go on a holiday to USA or South Africa?
So do you use an article?
No.
What about countries like UK, UAE, USA?
To the USA or South Africa?
Correct. So the first one we use an article, but the second one we don't. What about number seven?
Do you know anyone who's a singer or an actor?
Okay. All right, so Noah can ask you these questions and let's see. Okay, go ahead, Noah.
On my page.
You know what? I think it's better if each one answers and asks the other, okay? So Brahim will ask you these questions, the one we have here. You'll answer it, and then we'll go to your page, and you can ask Brahim, okay? So Brahim will ask you these questions, okay, Noha?
Okay.
All right, go ahead, Brahim.
Do you know anyone who has just bought a new laptop?
No.
When did you last have a problem with your computer?
Last month.
Did you manage to solve the problem yourself?
Not yet.
Where's the which do you like the best, Italian food or Chinese food?
Not after Corona.
Okay.
For Italian food.
Where's the best place for tourists to visit in the south of your country?
Desert, maybe.
Would you prefer to go on a holiday to the USA or South Africa?
Both of them, I think.
What is or was the best thing about going to school?
The best thing. Meeting friends.
Meeting friends.
Do you know anyone who's a singer or an actor?
No.
Okay. Okay, so let's go to your questions now, Noha. And let's go there here in our book. Okay, so you can ask these questions to Ibrahim and we'll write the missing gaps, okay? So
Okay.
Ask your first question.
When did you last get an email with a photo attachment? Who or what was the photo of?
Ibrahim?
I don't get emails.
You never got an email with a photo attachment?
مش عارف. يمكن تأكيد حساب only بس.
So it's like you know, bank account, some kind of bank account email, right?
إيه.
Okay, but when did you last get it? When was this?
2 years ago, maybe.
Okay.
Okay.
Next question.
Which do you like more, cats or dogs?
واضح cats.
I don't like cats, actually.
لا والله طبعا قنين.
Not that much. They are mean.
Yeah, they're a bit evil, yes. But
yeah.
I like them because they're like humans. They're very close to humans.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they are smart.
They're smart, and I think they're selfish. When you see a cat, you think of humanity. We're the same. We just use sophisticated language. We smile, you know, but our behavior is the same. We only care about each other when we're hungry, when we want something.
بالضبط.
Cats are like this.
لكن مش الكل يعني not all of the cats are just like that.
Yeah, but most are.
إيه لا الغالبية
Yeah. All right. Okay, next question now.
Okay. What's the worst thing about being in the hospital?
Being sick.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. I think here, Noha, I'm not sure. I think there's no article about being in hospital. I think
in the hospital here, in the building itself.
Yes, but I think here we're talking about the normal way hospitals are used, right? It's true, it's about the building, but it's actually not about the building in this situation, because if you see the question, what's the worst thing about being? So maybe it doesn't look like it's pleasant. So it looks like we're talking about a patient, right?
Yeah.
And a patient is using the hospital.
They're asking about the staying in hospital.
Exactly, in hospital. Do you get the idea? I'll check this. I'll have to confirm it, but I think there's no because if we want to use it like you can say he works in the hospital, but when you say he's staying in hospital, Maybe in this situation, he's admitted. To get the idea.
Yeah.
Okay. But like I said, I'll have to confirm this.
Yeah. Would you prefer to go? Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, you answered, Brian.
Yeah, Brian. But he didn't answer this one.
No, he answered.
What did he say?
Being sick.
But I mean, of course, that's obvious. That's why you're in the hospital.
Hey.
But what's the worst thing about being in hospital?
Waiting for a surgery.
Okay, maybe waiting for your turn or waiting for surgery, yeah. Maybe that's a bit worse than just being sick. Okay. No, yes, D?
Would you prefer to go on holiday to Australia or the UK?
UK, man, fish.
You'd like to go to the UK?
Yeah.
Believe me, there's nothing there. It's not that interesting.
Because I know that I went there before, but Australia, there's a lot of poison animals.
Maybe in the jungle and I don't think in the city, not so much.
مش عارف لدرجة يعني هلبة عندهم مواضيع هذوما هلبة.
They have lots of snakes and spiders and these things and jellyfish. But I think Australia is a lot more interesting than the UK. The UK is sort of boring, to be honest. Australia, I'd like to go there. I think it's much more interesting. Okay, so you'd like to go to the UK, huh? Next question.
What's the most expensive restaurant in the center of your town or city?
Do you know?
I don't know.
Don't know? Maybe Noah knows the answer to this. What do you think, Noah? What's currently the most expensive restaurant in Tripoli? Is it Rubian?
Maybe the restaurant that's selling fish.
Yeah, I think it might be Rubian.
In general, the restaurant who made this kind of dishes, fish.
Yes, seafood in general. Fish,
in general, they are the most expensive here.
I agree. I think that's right. Okay, next question.
Are you planning to go to the football match next month?
No.
Okay. No, can you read this?
Are you planning to go to the football match next month? Because it seems that we both know about what football match we are talking about.
Yeah, maybe you're right.
Looks like a plan.
Yeah, are you planning to go to the football match next month? You're right, yes, because they also use planning.
Yeah, next month.
Go to a football match? To go to the football match? I think it's, I don't know. If we want to be, really careful with the rules, because we don't have any mention of football match until now. You get the idea? But if you want to think of it the way you said, it's also true what you said. Maybe they were talking about a match.
Yeah.
Okay. Last one, no?
Is anyone in your family a doctor, an architect, or a lawyer?
Yes, Brian?
A doctor, yes.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, so this is the general idea of how to use when to use a and when not to use anything. So you can see we already had a few disagreements here, but I'm very curious now, and I think it's worth checking the one about hospital, especially at this stage.
It's always confusing, the subject about articles.
Yeah.
Always confusing. I don't know why.
I agree with you. I think it's a bit confusing, and many students, especially stronger students, have told me the same thing.
No matter how much you try to follow the rules, I find it hard to be perfect each time.
All right, here we go. So I'm checking. Okay, so it says, okay, in and at a hospital. Okay, do you see this website that's going to open? This is an example of a forum.
Inside, at, beside, in front of, in hospital area, isn't it?
In a way, it says here, when you write at the hospital, your condition, in hospital, your family discharge. Yes. At hospital, in hospital. At the hospital. But here, I think here the main discussion is whether to use I mean, in or at. They're not talking about articles. They're just talking about the preposition.
Yeah, preposition.
Yeah, but in short, it seems that they're saying at the hospital. Here, you're probably. It means maybe you just arrived. So, and you could also be at. It could also mean you're a visitor, you're a patient, or you're a doctor who works there. This is if you say at. Okay. But in, it means admission. You're staying maybe overnight. He's in hospital. Maybe
staying.
You're staying. Maybe you had an operation. Maybe you're really sick in hospital. He's in hospital. Okay, now let's see the difference between the and
I think you should write in the hospital.
Yeah, let's write that. In the hospital or at the hospital. In the hospital, at the hospital, or in hospital. In the hospital or in hospital. Okay, so there also seems to be an American versus British issue here. This book, of course, we're using is British, so it's probably going to follow British rules. It appears that the British don't like to use the with hospital a lot. They just say in hospital. Let's see here. He's in hospital. He's in the hospital. It's the same. He's in the hospital. He's in hospital. In the hospital is longer term in the hospital. In hospital, in the hospital sounds natural. It says here that in hospital, the British say in hospital, the Americans say in hospital. Someone replied, that's not true. In the hospital. Okay, so this is from a book. Jane's in hospital. I left my I think this is the one we want now. So Jane's in hospital. She's a patient. She had surgery. She's very ill. She's in hospital. She's admitted. Okay. The next one here, they're talking about it as a building. I left my coat in the hospital when I was visiting Jane. Do you get the idea? In this situation, they're using hospital as a building, as a place, as a geographical location. So if you're using it like a building, we need to use the. But if you're talking about it generally, or talking about it the way it's supposed to be used as a public place, like schools, for example, you don't You don't need an article. All right? I think that's the point. So maybe in our example, if we go back, what's the worst thing about being in? So maybe here without an article would be better, because I think we're talking about it from a patient's point of view, someone who's admitted and maybe he's not enjoying it or she's not enjoying it. I think that's the point here.
Yeah.
But just like you said, it's very easy to confuse them, and because I find myself checking a lot with in prepositions, also in, at, in the, on the, you know. Some of them are rules, but some of them are also variations. The British say at the weekend, Americans say on the weekend, not on, in the weekend. So, you know, there are some of them are variations, but some of them are rules. So they can be a little tricky. Okay, so we get the point. Let's go back. All right, I think there's some listening to do here. Let's check. So it says here, okay, so we just finished number 6. That's the one we finished now. Now we have listening. It says here, look at the photo of 3 work colleagues. We have Jenny, Simon, and Gary. Then listen to them talking about how they use social network sites, networking sites, put these topics in the order they talk about them. All right, let's see the topics first. So we have videos on YouTube, how Jenny uses Facebook, today's office meeting, Twitter and tweeting, number of Facebook friends, and how often Simon goes on Facebook. So they are going to chat about all these things, these 6 topics or ideas. We just want to put them in order the first time we listen. Let's take a look at the people. So we have Simon, we have Gary, and Jenny. Simon, Gary, and Jenny. All right. So let's go to the listening and let's listen to their chats. So we want track CD2. CD2, track 22.
Track 22.
Did you hear the beginning of the track?
Yeah.
Track 22.
Okay, so I'm just checking that. It's a little noisy here, so I'm just going to mute it with my microphone so you can hear better.
Track 22.
Here are your drinks. We were lucky to get a table, weren't we?
Yes, it's always quite busy in here after work.
Cheers.
Cheers.
So, how was the meeting?
Oh, it was quite boring, actually. Marcus went on about sales figures and cutting costs and stuff like that.
Right. Did you go to the meeting, Simon? Simon?
Oh, don't worry about him. He's probably updating his Facebook page, saying something fascinating like in pub with people from work or whatever.
Just because I'm online, it doesn't mean I can't hear you.
I can see why they don't allow people to go on Facebook in the office.
Yeah, what did Marcus call it? Social not working?
So how often do you go on Facebook, Simon?
Oh, I don't know. About 10 or 15 times a day, probably.
Really?
Yeah. All of my friends are on it, and I like to know what's happening to them.
Are you on Facebook, Jenny?
Yes, but I don't check it very often anymore. I used to do it all the time. It's very addictive. But I was spending hours and hours on it, and it wasn't as much fun as it used to be. And in the end, you're still just sitting on your own in front of a computer screen.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Actually, I thought it was damaging my friendships. I always knew what my friends were doing, so I never phoned them up for a chat or arranged to meet up with them. There didn't seem to be a reason to. Now I only check it once a week and try to meet up with friends face to face more often.
So how many friends do you have?
Do you mean real friends or Facebook friends?
Facebook friends?
Oh, I don't know. About 100, I think.
Is that all? I've got, let's see, 762. And even my sister's rabbit's got over 200 friends.
Which means your sister's rabbit is twice as popular as Jenny.
Exactly. Computers never lie.
Very funny.
What about you, Gary? Are you on Facebook?
No, I'm not, but I'm on Twitter.
Oh, right. Do you tweet a lot?
No, but I like reading tweets from film stars and footballers and people like that.
And what about YouTube?
Yeah, I love YouTube. I can spend hours watching videos of baby animals.
Yeah, women love that sort of thing. My favourite YouTube videos are the ones of people having hilarious accidents.
Well, my wife posts videos of the children so our relatives can watch them.
Yeah, that's the wonderful thing about the internet. You can use it to share videos of your kids.
Or to tell your Facebook friends it's your turn to buy the drinks.
What? Oh, yeah. Okay then. Same again.
Okay. So they talked about quite a lot of things, I think, but let's put them in order. So what's the first thing they talked about?
Today's office meeting.
Yes, they mentioned the meeting, correct. What next? Brian, what's the next thing they talked about?
فيسبوك حساب شيء قاعد على الميوت.
What's the next thing they talked about?
Facebook.
What about Facebook?
How often Simon...
Oh yeah, how often they stay on Facebook.
Yes, okay, so they talked about Simon and how he uses Facebook. Okay, third point, what was it?
How
Jenny uses Facebook.
Uses Facebook.
And then?
Number of Facebook friends.
Okay. After that?
Twitter and tweeting.
Twitter.
Yeah. And the last thing was the
Videos and YouTube.
right. That's correct. Yes. All right. So these are some of the things they talked about. Let's see if we can do the true false without listening again, and then confirm them after we finish. So all we need to do is true false. So the first one, what do you think, Noah?
All 3 people went to the meeting. I'm not sure about this question. I think that you need to listen again because I was focusing on the order question. So I can be guess for the first point. I don't know.
Okay, Brahim, what do you think?
Mm-hmm.
Were they all at the meeting, all 3 of them? Do you think that's true?
Not sure.
I think it was just Jenny.
Only Jenny?
Only Jenny, I guess.
So what should we say? True or false?
I'm not sure.
Hey.
Maybe let's listen again because it's confusing to order them. There's a lot of things they spoke about. We couldn't.
Oh, okay, so let's listen again. But before we listen, take a look at the sentences themselves. Just prepare them so it's easier when you listen, okay? Just
So Simon, false.
false, you think?
Got 10 to 15 times.
Okay, I'm just going to write your answers. We're going to listen anyways, but... Number 3?
Jenny doesn't use Facebook as much as she
true.
used to. True.
Number 4.
She saw her friends more often because of Facebook.
I don't think so. Maybe false.
Simon says that his sister
Number
has
5.
more Facebook friends. True.
Number 5 too. Yeah.
Rabbit. Sister's rabbit.
So this means false.
False.
Okay. Number 6.
True.
Okay. Number 7.
No, not sure.
What do you think now, number 7?
I don't know. Maybe true, maybe false. I'm not sure.
It's only going to be one of them. It's either true or false.
Yeah.
Okay, let's listen again. Let's listen and let's check.
Track 22.
Ah, here are your drinks. We were lucky to get a table, weren't we?
Yes, it's always quite busy in here after work.
Cheers.
Cheers.
So, how was the meeting?
Oh, it was quite boring, actually. Marcus went on about sales figures and cutting costs and stuff like that.
Right. Did you go to the meeting, Simon? Simon?
Oh, don't worry about him. He's probably updating his Facebook page, saying something fascinating like in pub with people from work or whatever.
Just because I'm online, it doesn't mean I can't hear you.
I can see why they don't allow people to go on Facebook in the office.
Yeah, what did Marcus call it? Social not working?
So how often do you go on Facebook, Simon?
Oh, I don't know. About 10 or 15 times a day, probably.
Really?
Yeah. All of my friends are on it, and I like to know what's happening to them.
Are you on Facebook, Jenny?
Yes, but I don't check it very often anymore. I used to do it all the time. It's very addictive. But I was spending hours and hours on it, and it wasn't as much fun as it used to be. And in the end, you're still just sitting on your own in front of a computer screen.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Actually, I thought it was damaging my friendships. I always knew what my friends were doing, so I never phoned them up for a chat or arranged to meet up with them. There didn't seem to be a reason to. Now I only check it once a week and try to meet up with friends face to face more often.
So how many friends do you have?
Do you mean real friends or Facebook friends?
Facebook friends.
Oh, I don't know. About 100, I think.
Is that all? I've got, let's see, 762. And even my sister's rabbit's got over 200 friends.
Which means your sister's rabbit is twice as popular as Jenny.
Exactly. Computers never lie.
Very funny.
What about you, Gary? Are you on Facebook?
No, I'm not, but I'm on Twitter.
Oh, right. Do you tweet a lot?
No, but I like reading tweets from film stars and footballers and people like that.
And what about YouTube?
Yeah, I love YouTube. I can spend hours watching videos of baby animals.
Yeah, women love that sort of thing. My favourite YouTube videos are the ones of people having hilarious accidents.
Well, my wife posts videos of the children so our relatives can watch them.
Yeah, that's the wonderful thing about the internet. You can use it to share videos of your kids.
Or to tell your Facebook friends it's your turn to buy the drinks.
What? Oh, yeah. OK, then. Same again.
Okay.
Okay, all 3 people I think عارفة كانوا يسألوا في سايمون لكن هو ما ردش وبعدين فتحوا موضوع على I think it's Jenny in Gary سألها how was the meeting يعني.
Yeah, so this means, exactly, this means Gary cannot be with them if he's asking them about the meeting.
Yeah. False.
Yeah, so this means it's false. And then we have the last one.
False.
It's also false. Yeah. All right. So so this was a chat. I think now they're going to ask you a little bit about strong and weak forms again. Okay. All right, so this is, I think it's repeated. Not repeated, but they've talked about this. They've talked about this before. Okay, again, here the very important sound, the schwa sound. So it's everywhere in English, especially if you're using a weak form. And actually, statistically speaking, weak forms are more common in in daily speech, in real speech, not classroom speech, because classroom speech teachers only use the strong form when they're talking. But in real speech, in real daily life, weak forms are more common. Okay, it says here, how do we say the strong and the weak forms of these words? All right, so let me play them and let me show you how these words are slightly different when you do them in the weak form. So in the normal form, I mean, in the strong form, the way everybody reads them, it's do, you, at, for, of, and, to, can. This is the normal strong form. Listen to the track and see how different this is from the way I read them.
23. Are, was.
Okay, sorry. I thought part B was they will. I thought they were going to read the ones in the box here. Okay, but in the recording they're actually reading the other ones. But how about these? How do you think they pronounce them, Noha? The weak form of these prepositions and not all of them prepositions, but what's the weak form of do, you, at? Do you know?
Yeah, I don't know, but let's try.
Okay.
Da, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
at.
But here you should use a schwa sound. The key is using the schwa sound in all of them. Do you get the idea? Yeah, at, correct.
For.
Yes.
Of.
Mm-hmm. And how does it change?
And.
And even the D becomes sort of light. So salt and pepper. Salt and pepper.
Salt
Mm-hmm.
and.
Yeah.
Ta.
Correct. Ta. Mm-hmm. Can. Yeah. All right. That's right. Yes. So these are some of the ones I think they've talked about before in some of the previous units. Now we have another group. We have the are, was, were, your, but, as, from, them. So this is the strong form. Now let's listen to both of them, the strong and the weak form. So let's do this.
Track 23. Are, was, were, your, but, as, from, them.
تسمع فجأة بلا نهار.
يقطع.
Can you hear? Yes.
بالضبط.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Hello? Hello? Can you hear me now? Hello? Can you hear me? Hello? Can you hear me? Hello? Hello? Who can hear me? Hello? I think it's not working. I can't hear you.
قابل بتاعكم
Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
تو خير.
Okay. Okay, so now 2 internets are down. This is the last one.
كفاءة.
No, المرة هذه كفاءة كلتها مسكينة واقفة كفاءة. ريادة المرة هذه يخدم بس.
كبيرة.
Yes, usually it's not working. Okay, but I don't know. Usually when 2 of them, switch off and they're not working anymore, usually the third one will follow soon. So let's try to finish our topic. Because of the blackout, it's been since what time is it now? I think since 8 o'clock in the morning or something like this. So, all right. So I think you didn't hear. Let's repeat the track one more time so you can hear it.
لا في شيء.
Sorry. Yes. Yeah.
As. From.
Now can you hear the recording now?
Track 23.
Yeah. Okay.
Are. Was. Were. Your. But. As. From. Them.
Okay. So you can see all of the weak forms, they have the same sound, right? All of them have the sound, the schwa sound. It's a common sound, it's pretty common. And from what I've read, some languages don't have it. So it's a bit of a problem for some students, when they're learning English and they see this sound is common. It's a common sound. All right, now, part C, it says, look at these sentences from the conversation. Which words do you hear as weak forms? Okay, so if you hear a weak form, we just want to put a circle. We want to circle the weak forms, okay? So, so I think, okay, so we have to do the circling first. After that, we can confirm it from the listening track. So it says here are your drinks. Of course, it wouldn't be here are your drinks, What about the next one? Do you think it's we were lucky, or do you think it's we were lucky?
We're lucky.
We were lucky.
We're lucky.
Do you think it's a strong form or a weak form?
Weak and then good.
Naha, what do you think?
We're lucky to get. هنا أعتقد مش مختصرة.
What do you mean? But here it's not we are. No, it's the past of, it's supposed to be were.
Yeah. We were. I think it's weak.
Okay, so you think it's also weak here. What about weren't we?
Weren't we? Weak.
Okay. Okay, next one. But I was spending. Is it was or was?
Was.
So, okay, so you think it's weak. What about the and here?
And weak.
Okay, and the next one?
And can I weak if
when it's weak, it sounds like just like when you say salt and pepper. We don't say salt and pepper. No, We always say salt and pepper, fruit and nuts, right? You say fruit and nuts. Nobody says that. Everybody says fruit and nuts. So it's a bit like What about negative auxiliaries?
Strong.
They're strong, yes. But why did we use weren't we? Weren't we?
Yeah.
Do you think it's weak or strong?
No, it's strong. Negative, Dima, strong.
Yeah, so it means we remove this. Okay. Wasn't as much fun as it used to be. Is it to be or is it to be? Or is it, what about as? Do we say as or do we say us? What do you think? All of them weak or some of them?
Weak. All of them weak.
All right. Okay. All right, number 3. No. Is it but or is it but?
But. Strong.
You think it's strong? What about from? Should we say, I like reading tweets from? Is it from film stars or is it from film stars? From
weak.
Or from? Weak, you think it's weak?
لا ترى أنطق من أول جديد.
Okay, what I say isn't I mean, it's in the sentence that matters. I'm just giving the options. If it's weak, it will sound like from. Yeah, but if it's strong, it will sound like from. But remember, in the sentence, if it's weak, the reader is going to read it really quickly, really fast. What about, okay, weak. What about the and, film stars and footballers? Or do you think and footballers?
لا weak.
Okay. So we have and are weak. What about but now? What do you think? In the beginning of number 3. Do you think it's weak or strong?
I don't know. Maybe strong.
Okay, so let's leave.
نقول weak.
Okay, let's leave it and we'll check. Number 4. Well, my wife posts videos of the children. What about of? Is it of the children or is it of the children? Videos of the children.
Weak.
Okay. And then it says, so our relatives, is it can watch them or is it so our relatives can watch them? Is it can or is it can?
Can. Weak.
Okay. Okay, let's check your answers. Let's switch on. Let's go to the, where is it? The track. Track 24.
Here are your drinks. We were lucky to get a table, weren't we?
But I was spending hours and hours on it, and it wasn't as much fun as it used to be.
No, but I like reading tweets from film stars and footballers and people like that. Well, my wife posts videos of the children so our relatives can watch them.
Okay, so all of these are correct, but I think we've missed 2. There were 2 words we missed. Just 2. The rest are all right. Do you want me to repeat it? Or do you think you can find it first?
Okay. No.
Repeat
it.
Okay, let's repeat it again. Remember, just 2 words. Everything else is fine.
Track 24.
Here are your drinks. We were lucky to get a table, weren't we?
But I was spending hours and hours on it, and it wasn't as much fun as it used to be.
No, but I like reading tweets from film stars and footballers and people like that. Well, my wife posts videos of the children so our relatives can watch them.
Maybe but and from.
Correct. But and where's from? I think we circled from, right?
Yeah.
No, we did fine. But how many buts do we have?
But we have just one.
Are you sure?
1, 2.
We have 2.
Where's the other one?
Both buts are in the weak form.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here they didn't say but. He said but I was spending.
Yeah.
So but is so you can see that they actually use the weak forms a lot more than the strong forms. So maybe that's why they keep repeating these kinds of exercises. I think they want the student to get the idea that there's a slight difference in pronunciation. All right, so now we've got this part over with. We can move on. It says here, look at the audio script, listen to the conversation again. I don't think we need
Let's skip this part, please.
Yeah, I'm skipping it. Yeah. Number 9, survey about the internet. There's nothing new here either. I think we can skip this part too. All right. So it says here, direct and indirect questions. Okay, this is also a famous intermediate topic. So we're going to start with the listening track. But first of all, let's see what's the lesson about. Can you tell me? All right, so we'll see what, tell me what. Let's find out. So when the photo, you can see on, here we have Tanya, here we have Charlie, okay, Rebecca and Charlie. All right, so where is Charlie in each photo? What do you think the people are talking about? So where is Charlie in each photo? The first photo, where is he? What do you think?
The first photo in the office. The second one at home.
Okay, I think so. I think that's about it. What do you think? What do you think he's? What is he talking about in the first photo?
Inquiring about something.
giveaway مكتوب على
giveaway الثانية ما نعرف شنو هي giveaway بصير شنو مش واضحة.
Where is it? Where is it written giveaway?
في
on the file.
الألبوم اللي شادة ولا الفايل.
Yeah, giveaway, correct. Yeah. And in the second one, in the second photo, what do you think he's talking about?
He just got from work, maybe.
Yeah.
السؤال السحري شو اللي غداه؟
شو غداكم? Maybe that's what he's asking us. All right, so I guess we have to listen to find out. So that's what we're gonna do now. Watch or listen to Charlie's conversations with a colleague. Okay, so we already know Tanya is his colleague, and then Rebecca is his wife. Then choose the correct words in these sentences. Maybe it's better to just check the sentences first, so this way we won't need to repeat too many times. So in the first conversation, Charlie and Tanya are discussing, it's either a meeting or a conference next week, okay? The second thing they talked about clients. These clients are arriving either on Monday or Tuesday, and they're coming from London or New York. The third point, they're going to take the clients for lunch in a hotel or pub, and Barry McKenzie is definitely coming to the meeting, or he might be coming to the meeting. So there's a character called Barry McKenzie. Okay, let's check the second conversation with his wife. So it says Harry's first birthday is at 1 o'clock or 3 o'clock on Friday or on Saturday. Do you remember Harry? Noha, do you remember him?
Yeah.
The kid. Yeah. Okay, their son. All right. So Rebecca's parents are staying with Charlie and Rebecca. Rebecca's parents aren't staying. Okay. They know how many people are coming to the party. They don't know. Charlie gets on well with Rebecca's uncle, or he doesn't get on well. What does it mean when we say someone gets on well with someone else? What's the meaning?
يتفاهم معاه ينسجم معاه.
Yeah, that's it. Yes, someone who gets
ايه ما
along,
اعرفش نقولها لك ايوه gets along.
gets
يعني.
along, maybe agrees often, or can socialize easily, maybe something like that. Okay, let's listen. Let's go to the listening and let's find out.
Conversation 1.
Hello, Tanya. Have you got a minute?
Hello, Charlie. Yes, of course. Take a seat.
Thanks.
Right. How can I help?
I just wanted to talk about next week's meeting with Sunspot Hotels. As you know, they're very important clients, and we need everything to go perfectly.
Yes, absolutely. Right. Jack and Melissa Johnson from Sunspot are flying over from the States on Monday.
Can you tell me when they're arriving?
They're arriving in London from New York at, let's see, 15:23.
Good. Do you know whether we've booked them a hotel room?
Yes, we have. Jenny's booked them into the Holiday Inn near the airport.
Fine. And the meeting's on Tuesday morning, is that correct?
Yes, it is.
Could you tell me what time it starts?
It starts at 10 and should finish about 12:30. Then you and I are taking them for lunch at the Rose and Crown. You know, that lovely old pub by the river.
That's a good choice. And what about all the other people attending the meeting?
Jenny emailed everyone about it last week.
I think it's important that Barry Mackenzie should be there. He knows more about the American market than anyone else. Have you any idea if he's been invited?
I'm not sure.
Well, perhaps you could check.
Yes, I will.
Do you think we should email everyone again? You know, just to remind everyone.
Okay, I'll do that myself this afternoon.
Great. Okay, perhaps we should talk about our presentation. Do you want to talk about the new products, or shall I?
Conversation 2.
Hi, darling, I'm home.
Hello. Good day at work?
Yes, not bad, thanks. That smells good.
Don't get excited. It's for Harry, not for you. You haven't forgotten about his first birthday party on Saturday, have you?
No, of course not. What time does it start?
At 3 o'clock, but some people have said they'll be a bit late.
Right. Are your parents coming?
Yes, of course they are. They wouldn't miss their grandson's first birthday.
When are they arriving?
On Friday. It's a long way to come and they wanted to make a weekend of it.
Right. They're not staying here, are they?
No, we thought it would be easier if they didn't.
Have we booked them a hotel room?
Yes, I did it this afternoon.
Okay. So how many people are coming?
I'm not sure yet. Some people haven't replied.
Should we email everyone again?
Yeah, good idea.
What about your Uncle Bob?
What about him?
Has he been invited?
Of course. I know you don't get on with him, but he's family. Just try not to get into an argument with him this time.
I will. Perhaps you could ask him not to break my TV this time too.
That was an accident. Anyway, come and see what I've got Harry for his birthday.
Okay. Let's start with the first conversation, the one with his colleague, with Tanya. So, what were they discussing?
Meeting.
Yeah. And what about the clients? When are they arriving?
On Monday.
On Monday.
Yeah. From where?
New York.
Okay. Are you sure it's Monday? Are you sure it's New York?
It's Monday arriving because the meeting or on Tuesday بيكون. لكن الرسول on Monday.
Yeah, maybe.
But London, New York, from London to New York.
All right, don't worry. What about lunch?
On pub.
In a pub, yeah. And what about this guy, Barry Mackenzie? What about him?
Might be coming.
He might be coming. Harry, when is his birthday? Is it at 1 o'clock or is that 3 o'clock? What do you think?
3 o'clock.
When is it? Is it Friday or Saturday?
Saturday.
Saturday.
What about Rebecca's parents? Are they staying with Charlie and Rebecca?
No, they
No.
aren't.
Okay, they're not staying. And do they know how many people are coming?
No, they don't.
Okay. And what about Charlie? Does he get on well with
Doesn't.
He doesn't. All right, so I think those answers are pretty much correct. I'm not sure if it's Monday or Tuesday. I think it might be Monday because I know that the meeting is on Tuesday.
Yeah, the meeting on Tuesday.
Yeah, so maybe the arrival is a day before. All right, but there's no need to check really. So let's go to number 2 here. It says watch or listen again, put these in order. Now let's try to remember before we listen again. Can you remember the order of the things they talked about, Tanya and Charlie? Which question was the first one?
Could you tell me what time it starts? Have you any idea how you invited? Can you tell me when they're arriving? Do you know whether we have booked them? We should email about. I think arriving. The question about arriving, the first one.
Okay, let's do that. What's the second one? No, but either.
Could you tell me what time it starts? Maybe. I think after arriving, they talked about the booking.
Okay, so let's choose number 2 for the booking.
We should email everyone again. هذه الأخير بكل. What time it start? هذا على الميتينج.
Okay, so.
إيه على الميتينج هذا الثالث. إيه could you tell me what time is it? هذا رقم 3. بعدين have you any idea if he has been invited? هذا على الجست هذا ماكنزي ولا من هو؟
Yeah, Barry, yes.
The last one, did you think we should email everyone again?
Okay. Now in composition 2, do they want us to also put it in order, the same thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Okay, your turn, Brian. You do composition 2.
Okay, G, number 1.
Okay.
First. F.
Okay. Oops.
J.
J.
H.
Okay, H.
I.
Let's find out.
Track 25. Conversation 1.
Hello, Tanya. Have you got a minute?
Hello, Charlie. Yes, of course. Take a seat.
Thanks.
Right. How can I help?
I just wanted to talk about next week's meeting with Sunspot Hotels. As you know, they're very important clients, and we need everything to go perfectly.
Yes, absolutely. Right. Jack and Melissa Johnson from Sunspot are flying over from the States on Monday.
Can you tell me when they're arriving?
They're arriving in London from New York at, let's see, 15:23.
Good. Do you know whether we've booked them a hotel room?
Yes, we have. Jenny's booked them into the Holiday Inn near the airport.
Fine. And the meeting's on Tuesday morning, is that correct?
Yes, it is.
Could you tell me what time it starts?
It starts at 10 and should finish about 12:30. Then you and I are taking them for lunch at the Rose and Crown. You know, that lovely old pub by the river.
That's a good choice. And what about all the other people attending the meeting?
Jenny emailed everyone about it last week.
I think it's important that Barry Mackenzie should be there. He knows more about the American market than anyone else. Have you any idea if he's been invited?
I'm not sure.
Well, perhaps you could check.
Yes, I will.
Do you think we should email everyone again? You know, just to remind everyone.
Okay, I'll do that myself this afternoon.
Great. Okay, perhaps we should talk about our presentation. Do you want to talk about the new products, or shall I?
Okay.
Conversation 2.
Hi, darling, I'm home.
Hello. Good day at work?
Yes, not bad, thanks. That smells good.
Don't get excited. It's for Harry, not for you. You haven't forgotten about his first birthday party on Saturday, have you?
No, of course not. What time does it start?
At 3 o'clock, but some people have said they'll be a bit late.
Right. Are your parents coming?
Yes, of course they are. They wouldn't miss their grandson's first birthday.
When are they arriving?
On Friday. It's a long way to come and they wanted to make a weekend of it.
Right. They're not staying here, are they?
No, we thought it would be easier if they didn't.
Have we booked them a hotel room?
Yes, I did it this afternoon.
Okay. So how many people are coming?
I'm not sure yet. Some people haven't replied.
Should we email everyone again?
Yeah, good idea.
What about your Uncle Bob?
What about him?
Has he been invited?
Of course. I know you don't get on with him, but he's family. Just try not to get into an argument with him this time.
I will. Perhaps you could ask him not to break my TV this time too.
That was an accident. Anyway, come and see what I've got Harry for his birthday.
All right, very nice. So we got all the answers right. That's good. Okay, I think we have about 5 minutes. We can do this part. All right, it says here in indirect and direct questions, look at indirect questions A to E and direct questions F to J, okay? Can you hear me clearly?
Hey.
Okay, because the internet is being funny. All right, so the first group, we have indirect questions. So now they're finally telling us the difference, okay, between direct and indirect. So these are indirect questions. These are the direct questions. All right. So I think it's obvious the meaning of direct and indirect. Indirect, you're not asking directly, right? You're just, could you tell me what time it starts, right? It's a bit different from saying, what time does it start, right? And the other one, have you any idea if he's been invited? So this is an indirect question, but look at the direct one. Has he been invited? Do you see? So for every indirect question, there is a sort of a direct twin that Charlie is using with his wife, right? So the question is, why did he use indirect questions with his colleague? And why did he use direct questions with his wife?
Formality.
Correct. This is the major reason. This is the main reason, yes. Because for formalities and for sounding a little more professional, a little more polite, sometimes people, when they speak English, they tend to use indirect questions when they want to sound more direct. So this means, Ibrahim, if you want to choose the right answer for the first rule, it says here, in more formal situations, we often use indirect or direct questions because they sound more polite. Which ones sound more polite, the direct ones or the indirect ones?
Indirect.
Yes, that's correct. All right, so this is the very first point we have. Now, it says here, let's scroll down a little more. It says, look at the questions 2A again, and notice the phrases in blue, okay? So in the indirect parts, indirect questions, we use these blue phrases. Could you tell me? Have you any idea? Can you tell me? Do you know? Do you think? So the question is about these phrases. It says we use if or whether in indirect questions when there is or isn't a question word.
use if دقيقة بس تعاودها من فضلك.
It says we use if or whether in indirect questions when there is or when there isn't question words. So
There isn't.
Okay, let's go to the examples first. So which ones have if and which ones have whether?
B or D?
If number B.
And whether D.
D.
Is there a question word here? Do you know what we mean by question words? You know, like where, what, how, you know, those guys.
Which question?
So there isn't, right?
No.
There is no question words in the examples that have if and whether. So we can say no question words. In indirect questions, if and whether are the same or different.
The same.
Are they the same? What do you think, Brian?
Do you know? Same.
I think the same too. I think it's the same. Because if you switch them, they sort of have the same meaning.
Yeah.
Do you know if we've booked? Yeah.
That's what I did.
Correct. It says here, we use or don't use if or whether with do you think. So let's check the questions with do you think. And let's see if we used if or whether with them.
Don't use. Do you think?
Yeah.
Yes. Exactly. With questions like do you think, we do not use. Yeah.
If we use
there's
whether.
No, correct. There's no if and no whether. Do you know? We do use whether.
Yeah.
But with do you think, we don't. No. Okay, so these are just some rough rules here. We need to talk about it. We need to talk about it in more details, I think. Hopefully next lesson. So maybe on Wednesday we'll talk a little more about this and maybe get used to the idea of indirect questions, direct questions, and make some of our own. After that, I think it will stick. It will be a lot easier to understand it. Okay, so so that's all for today, and I'll see you inshallah on Wednesday. Okay.
Inshallah.
All right then. Have a good day, and see you next time.
Wednesday.
Good day for you.
Wednesday.
Sorry. Thursday. Thursday, not Wednesday.
Thursday, yeah.
تنساش الفيديو بس.
The video from last lesson, yes. Okay, I'll do that.
Okay, شكرا.
You're welcome. Okay, bye.
السلام عليكم.
Bye.